How's everyone doing, guys? What you right? Cody, guys, back again, dropping yet another video. Right, guys, you know what? Right, I've learned something in the past 2-3 days on my Twitter, right? And I've opened myself up in my videos, my last couple of videos, right? My last 2 or 3 videos, right? About like being honest and open about prison, why I came away from crime and everything. Got a little bit upset and stuff, right? I'm a big guy and stuff, and as guys, and we try to be macho and act like, oh, we're everything to all men and all this stuff, and nothing bothers us, and we're made of stone and all this. And do you want the truth, guys? Right? I'm a big lad. I've handled a lot in my life, right? But prison affected me mentally, emotionally, and everything else, right? Anyone that's been in prison, right? Like I say, we've got this macho like tag, oh, we're convicts and we're hard and we're bad boys and we're rebels and we're outlaws and all the rest of the shit, right? Now we are all them things, right? And you can be the toughest guy in the world, but at the end of the day, we're human beings, aren't we? And we all have emotions, right? Now, prison, right, prison's cruel, right? Mentally, emotionally, right? And not just to the prisoner, but also to the prisoner's families. My mum, when I was inside, felt helpless. She was emotional. She had sleepless nights. She was angry. She was agitated. She was anxious. When she saw me on visit, she was happy. She knew that was okay. Because like I say, a mother's love and a family's love, right? Doesn't matter how big and how hard you are, right? You're still their baby boy. Right? And prisons are violent, volatile places and stuff, and the misery that people suffer in prison, right? Someone can appear to be the happiest person in the world, right, when they're getting about the wing. What you don't see is when that person's behind a door and they're writing a letter to their loved one, or they're on the phone to the loved one and they've got tears in their eyes, right? Now, like I say, in a lot of my previous videos, in 99.9% of my videos, I do this macho thing, oh, prison doesn't affect us, prison's easy. And it is, like I say, the roller coaster of prison is an emotional one, it's a psychological one, right? Now I'm going to go into prison and the effects on your like darkest moments in prison and stuff, right? Fucking hell, while I was in prison, guys, yeah, like when I was first in prison, right, was in 2014, right? It took the police a long time to get me inside, but they got me inside, right? And I can handle my prison, right? Prison, like I say, you can handle your prison, but you can still be emotional. Like I say, when I was in prison, there was no evidence against me, but yet I was still in prison. I couldn't get my head around that. It was a holding charge. So yeah, like I say, I used to write letters to my mum, and I was in a double cell, right? So I had a cellmate, right? And I used to write letters to my mum and stuff, right? And at the back of the bunk beds near the window, I had a little table, and that was my chair. He had one where the TV was, and I had mine at the back. I used to write to my mum, and I got upset, and I was writing letters to the girl that I was with at the time, and I was emotional and stuff like that, and I was crying, and my tears were dripping onto the paper and stuff. It was smudging on my fucking writing. Yeah, and like I say, when you're getting about the wing and stuff, right? In prison, there's a roller coaster of emotions, guys, right? And like I say, don't just think about the prisoner, right? The forgotten people in these instances are the prisoners' families, right? That they suffer intolerably. I don't think honestly you can put it's immeasurable how much damage prison does to families, psychologically, to the prisoner, to the families, emotionally, financially, and everything else, right? And like I say, as an older, wiser Ed now, I can look back and think, you know what, right? I see the errors of my ways and stuff, but prison guys, right? Like I say, someone might be happy and getting about, and you might think, oh, he's handling his jail. What you don't see, like I say, is when he's behind his door crying his eyes out, right? And like I say, people do. Why do you think people get angry in prisons? People get angry because of they're pissed off with the prison, they're pissed off with the screws, they're pissed off with the treatment, they're missing the families, the helplessness of it all, right? When I was in prison, I didn't know what was going on. When I was in Strangeways, right, back in 2014, I didn't know what was going on outside my door, what was going out what was happening outside my landing, didn't know what was happening outside the wing, never mind outside the prison walls, my family and everything else. I was just sat there, right, 23-hour bang up, right, with my thoughts. And in prison, guys, your thoughts take you to some dark places, guys, right? They also took me to happy places as well. But like I say, this video is focusing on the depressive side of things. I used to find myself dreaming of home, what I'd put my family through, food, things that I missed, like little things, just like being able to go to the shop, to nip to the shop to get a loaf of bread and a pint of milk, or just to give my mum a hug, or the girl that I was with at the time a hug, right? And you fantasize a lot in prison, right? Not just about sex and or everything else, but further than that, family, friends, what you want to do when you get out. The first thing you want to do is get out. All you dream of is your release, right? But like I say, the emotional effects it has on you guys, right? I'm a guy, I'm a 6'4", 20 stone guy, all that shit that I've gone through in previous videos. But do you know what, guys? I cried myself to sleep in prison, right? Like I say, doesn't mean I didn't handle my prison, guys. I fucking handle my jail every time. But like I say, emotionally, I found myself, like, I thought to myself, like, and I'm ashamed to say this, right? But I used to think, I thought, like, if I wasn't here, right, my family wouldn't be going through this, right? My mum wiped my shitty ass since I was a kid, right? And then we've had I had a bad childhood. We lived a crazy life and all the rest of the shit that everyone else has gone through, right? And I thought, I'm a grown ass man, and my mum's still wiping my ass, right? Why was my mum wiping my ass? She was going to, right, the flat that I used to have, right, I've since moved, but she used to look after my flat. She checked my mail. She tidied my flat. She ran around for me. She sent me money in. She came on visits, even though she was anxious driver and stuff. And she used to travel from Southport all the way around the houses, because she doesn't do motorways, to come and see me, right? And all the time I was given a stress and hassle, right? Listen, walk away from me. I'm useless. You're wasting your time. I'm lost in the system. I'm never going to get out. Just leave me, right? And you know what? She never gave up on me, guys, right? When I'd given up on myself, right? And do you know what, yeah? Like, at times and stuff, like I say, I've suffered, it's come to places where I've nearly fought in prison, where I've put it on the lads' toes and stuff, but we never ended up scrapping. We ended up making friends straight after again. Happened a few times with the same person. And do you know what? He's a top lad. He's out now, and he's back with his missus and his kids, and I love him to bits. He's a top lad. But there's anger, there's the emotion, the depressive fucking moods, man. 1 minute you're up here, right? If you go on a visit, you're up here, right? When you've had a visit or you've got your canteen, you're buzzing, right? But then the crash comes and everyone suffers it. I don't give a fuck how big and how bad you think you are. Right? At some point, you're going to be sat in your prison cell, yeah, thinking, fuck me, right? And like I say, you might shed a tear, you might get angry. Some people swap the emotional pain for physical pain by slashing up, right? It goes on. Like I say, we all deal with it in our own way and stuff like that. But prison, at some point, at several points in your sentence, will bring you to your knees, right? You will become upset. You will, like I say, I contemplated suicide. I literally thought, you know what, right? What am I doing putting my family through all of this, right? Like, I felt selfish. I felt insecure. I felt vulnerable. Like I say, and then my mum's being all upbeat. Do you know what I did, right? Honestly, yeah, this one time, right, I was that depressed, yeah, and I was honestly contemplating suicide, yeah. I just thought, I don't want to do this no more, right? And I was thinking of ways to kill myself in prison. Like I say, the cell that when I was at Strangeways, it would have been very easy, but when I was at Cat B Forest Bank, right, the cells are designed in such a way that it'd be hard to string up or something, right? And you know what I had to do, right? I was spiraling into this depressive state and stuff, and thinking about suicide. And I picked up the phone. I rang my ma. Yeah, and I didn't want to die no more. I was like, my mum was such a shining beacon in all the darkness and the spiraling depressive moods I was in. My mum was that beacon of light at the end of the tunnel, like, come here, you're going to come out, and she's there with her arms open, knowing that when I get to the end of the tunnel, she's going to be there waiting for me. Now, sadly for a lot of prisoners, guys, right, when they're going through these depressive states and stuff, a lot of people through family breakdowns and stuff have not got families there, right? They're not getting letters, they're not getting visits within prison, right? And there's no light, the light at the end of the tunnel, there's nobody waiting for them at the end of the tunnel. And that kills me inside, right? I was blessed, I'm blessed. And so if you're ever going to go to prison, right, never, ever, ever underestimate the love of your mum, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, because obviously female prisoners, right? Never, ever, ever, right, take them for granted. Because life is very, very short, guys, right? Now, we should respect the things we get, right? Like family, right? Right. You might argue, you might bash heads once in a while, right? That person, that mum, that dad, that auntie, that uncle, that nana, that granddad, whoever your family are, your kids, your cousins, everything, right? Never take them for granted, because you know what, guys? Life is very, very short, and it can be taken away in an instant, right? The guilt that I feel for putting my mum through what I put my mum through, I can't even put into words, right? The fact that she's getting older and she's anxious and she's nervous, and when I get out I see her old hands all wrinkly and stuff and getting old and stuff. I think like they're not going to be there forever. You know what I mean? Like, don't take it for granted. And when you're inside, right, at your lowest ebb, right, and you're at your lowest, right, don't take it out on your family, right? Because why? Because if they walked away from you, right, which they won't do, but some of them might do if you push them to that extreme, right, they love you, right? And when you're in prison, right, just actually look at what your family are doing. They're running around for you. My mum was working minimum wage, sending me money, and I was demanding money, you hear me? And I'm embarrassed to say that, right? And you know what? My mum came through for me every time. My mum went without so that I went with. You know what I mean? That's a mother's love, guys, right? And the depressive states and the anger and the emotion and the depressive states and the despair and the helplessness that my mum felt, right? And I used to first believe when I first went to prison, I thought, you know what? You don't understand. You don't know what we're going through. The truth of the matter is, guys, families are living that emotional roller coaster probably more than you are, more than you'll ever know, right? When you're in prison and stuff and you're kicking off with your loved ones, or you're depressed and you're crying, think about what your loved ones are doing for you, right? Think about their emotional state, their mental state, how they're coping with things, right? Not everybody drives. People get buses, people get trains, people get trams to go on visits, right? My mum used to take a 2-hour drive, because she didn't do motorways, to drive from Southport down the East Lancs to get to Forest Bank. Took her 2 hours, right? And that's 2 hours back. That's 4 hours. The visit was an hour to 2 hours, depending on it, because I became enhanced and stuff. I got an extra visit. Sometimes I'd have an hour, sometimes it'd be 2. That's 6 hours, guys. So that's just 4 hours traveling and 2 hour visit. And then she's buying me things on the visit. Then it's the petrol to get down to the visit. Then she's bringing me things in. Then she's sending me stamps in and fucking books of stamps and everything else, right? Like I say, the emotional, psychological and financial like cost to a family is through the roof, guys. Like I say, the person in prison's living it, the prisoner's families are living it, right? Guys, like I say, I'm ashamed, I'm embarrassed to say that I was down and I was broken and everything, right? Honestly, prison didn't reform me. I don't believe prison reform is a real word. I think it's a made-up word so people like Liz Truss can have a job and feel important. To me personally, I've explained in previous video why I came away from crime. My mum came on a visit. She had tears in her eyes. My mum's made of stone, you hear me, right? My mum is literally made of stone. And my mum was like, had tears in her eyes and a frog in her throat. She was breaking in her throat, right? You could hear it. And I thought, you know what? I'm sick of this. I don't want to do this no more, right? And when people go to prison and they get out, there's a change in them, right? You might not necessarily see it straight away, but you'll see a change. Every time someone goes to prison or someone goes to prison, it will change them. Some more than others, and some you'll see a difference more than you will with others. But guarantee you guys, prison will change you all. Right? It will at some point, right? And like I say, if this video, if someone's ever going to end up in prison, right? Please watch this video, and please, 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 think of your families while you're inside. Don't be selfish and think of yourself like I used to do. Think of your families and the after effects on your family and the ripple effect it causes through them. Because a mother's love is strong, right? And so is a family's love. But you need to understand what you're putting them through as well, not just yourself. They suffer probably as much, if not more, than you. Right, guys, I'm going to leave it here. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll speak to everyone soon. All right, bye.